after the most recent update that went live within World War II, there's been a lot of changes that we haven't seen before for this game specifically, such as the paratrooper insert, aka the tactical insertion from past Call of Duties, which also allows you to spawn in as a paratrooper, and then the faster regen for your health. But do any of these changes sound familiar? Like familiar as in the features we've seen in a game possibly known as Black Ops 4? What is going on, you guys? This is Gaming with Sal and welcome back to the channel. So what did I mean by the features we've seen in Black Ops 4? Well, what if I were to tell you that most of the new things that got added with the new Commando Division and the 2 basic training skills all were either inspired or came directly from Black Ops 4? And what's crazy is that I thought a lot of other YouTubers were going to make videos about this, but I guess I was wrong. Granted, everything I'm about to say within this video are things that other people out there might have possibly already known about, but I guess I'm just surprised that no one really made a video pointing all of it out. Anyways, let's go ahead and dive into what exactly I'm talking about, and that is the 3 main things that were added into Call of Duty World War II that came from Black Ops 4 one way or another. Now, the first thing that's on this list is the new Catalyst basic training skill. What this basic training pretty much does is it allows the player to pull out a serum, which is basically like this huge thick needle that you can inject yourself with after the cooldown time for the serum is complete, and once injected, it gives the player the ability to have better weapon handling. This can include things like making your quick draw much more faster and better, faster ADS time, a reduction on the sway time when you're aiming down your sights, better control of your recoil, etc. But if we step away from what this basic training actually does and what its abilities are and look at exactly how you get to use it, you can see that this is exactly like the stim shot or the healing shot that you have to manually inject yourself with in Black Ops 4. Even the concept is the same. In order to use it, you have to manually inject yourself. You can inject yourself with it whenever the cooldown time for the shot is complete, and then even the animation for it is really similar to one another. Now, I feel like the reason they made the Catalyst basic training to where you can only use it from time to time and have to manually trigger it to use its abilities is because 1, it would be extremely overpowered to have this ability always being there from the start to the end of the match, and 2, it kind of trains us for Black Ops 4 in a way, and the way that the new healing mechanic works in that game. Sure, the ability of the Catalyst basic training and its serum has nothing to do with the way it works in Black Ops 4, but the idea on how to use these shots essentially is the same thing, and I think it's really cool how this basic training can essentially help us train for whenever it comes time to play Black Ops 4 and use the new healing system in that game, even though the new healing system can become second nature for some people. But I'm pretty sure there's a lot of players out there who are still not used to, having to manually trigger the shot to be able to heal yourself. So when it comes to the Catalyst basic training here in World War II, it can kind of train you to be able to get better at that over time. Next up on the list, we have the most obvious change that came to World War II, and something we've never really seen before in any Call of Duty, and that is the new paratrooper insert ability that comes with the newly added Commando Division. What players can do now is spawn into the map as a paratrooper from the sky by putting down an insert on the ground, just like a tactical insertion from past Call of Duties, and basically wherever you put this insert down is where you're going to spawn in as the paratrooper coming in from the skies. Now, how is this related to Black Ops 4 at all? Well, remember Blackout? There was a recent leak that came out about Black Ops 4 across all 3 different modes, and I actually made a video about this talking about all of these leaks, so if you guys want to go ahead and check that out, I highly recommend you do so if you don't mind the spoilers, that is. And I'll go ahead and leave a link to that video in the description below, or an annotation on screen or something that can help you guys find this video. But anyways, one of the leaks that came out that had to do with Blackout was the leak that talked about how the player is going to start off the match by flying into the map on a wingsuit and then eventually parachute into the section of the map that they decided to land in. Now, this was speculated way before this leak came out because, I mean, 1, this is what's been going on in all the Battle Royale games like Fortnite, PUBG, where people just kind of parachute into the map, and it's kind of like a Battle Royale type of thing now, right? But I guess whenever this leak came out, it's sort of like one step closer to finding out if this is what's going to be going down in Black Ops 4. However, that's exactly what's being tested here in World War II with the new paratrooper insert ability carried by the Commando Division, because I have a feeling that there were probably other intentions of adding this feature into Call of Duty World War II, such as something simple like it's going to be a fun change for the game and people can use it and enjoy it. But I really do believe that this was also added mainly to see how well this feature would work with Call of Duty in general, because we haven't really seen anything like this before, and we definitely haven't seen a mode like Blackout before. So I'm pretty sure they made this whole paratrooper insert ability in World War II to see if there's going to be anything like bugs, glitches, like if the animation would work perfectly fine whenever they're spawning into the map, falling from the sky, seeing if everything runs smoothly. I feel like it was mainly for like a test to see if it can work well or not with Blackout, and then also get to see how well people react to this new change and see whether or not they really like it or dislike it. Another thing that I actually wanted to add on before I move on to the next thing on the list is that this new paratrooper spawning ability kind of now disrupts the flow of the game, which is something that Black Ops 4 mentioned that they were going to be doing as well. I mean, if you go ahead and think about it, before this Commando Division was added to World War II and before we can spawn in as a paratrooper, the only time you would have to worry about an enemy coming in from you is either in front of you, behind you, left, or right. Now, this time, you're going to have to worry about whether or not someone is spawning in from above as a paratrooper, and the way that this kind of disrupts the flow of the game is you sometimes have to stop, look up at the sky, try to shoot them down if they're there, or check if they're there, and whenever that happens, you're not going to be ready for the person that might come in front of you, behind you, from the sides, etc. So in a way, you kind of have to like play differently and look at your surroundings much more differently, sort of how Black Ops 4 is trying to make it with their multiplayer experience. So I guess that's a little thing that got added in with this new paratrooper ability as well. So basically, in short, the new paratrooper mechanic seen in World War II is something that we're also going to be seeing in Blackout as well, and I feel like that's exactly why this feature got added into World War II to begin with. Now, the third and final thing that's on this list is once again one of the abilities that come with the Commando Division, and it has also came in the form of a basic training called Remedy, and that is the ability to heal much more quicker and the ability to start the healing process right after getting a kill. So this is one of those things that got added into World War II in which you have to kind of look deep into to be able to see how exactly it's related to Black Ops 4. When it comes to Black Ops 4, let's go ahead and take a look at the way the health mechanic works now and the whole system works as a whole. We all get 150 health by default, and if we have Crash on the team, then it can go up to 200 and then throw on body armor as well, and you basically have a crap load of health. But what this basically creates is a chance or situation of everyone not always having the same amount of health. One guy can have only like 110 health after being hit with something like a firebreak on your team in his reactor core and can't heal after like 15 seconds of being hit, making it easier for you to go in and just take him out, while his teammate who's hiding in the corner has 200 health because moments before, Crash on the enemy team gave everyone 200 health, so it takes much longer to take them all out than the person who is at 110 health. So what does this essentially all mean? Well, this basically means is that the player will not always be able to tell how many bullets it's going to take to kill an enemy because one enemy can have a different amount of health than their teammates, and that's exactly what's going to be happening in World War II now. Of course, it's not going to feel as noticeable or be as drastic as it was in Black Ops 4 because one, there's no division in that game that's like Crash and everyone has 100 health by default versus 150, but this ability can make a difference on how you approach someone who's using the Commando Division or how you can play against someone if you're using the Division. Another thing that I want to add onto this conversation is how in Black Ops 4, you also don't know if someone is using a stim shot or not versus like the regular shot that you get from like default. And basically what the stim shot does is that it's like an upgraded version of the normal health shot that's used in the game and allows it to heal up a little bit more faster than those who don't use the stim shot, and basically the cooldown time for this health mechanic to like be able to be used is much shorter than the regular shot itself. And this is basically sort of like the Commando Division and how it boosts up the player's health faster than those who don't have this ability or aren't using the Remedy basic training. Overall, the differences in the speed of which the player can heal themselves based on which division or basic training they decide to use in World War II really resembles the way that the new health system works in Black Ops 4. And there you have it. Those are the 3 newly added features in World War II that are very similar or were inspired by Black Ops 4. Now, one thing that I want to add before ending the video is that I really do think that these features were added into World War II to get players ready for Black Ops 4. Because if we take a look at the history of Call of Duty for these past few years, you can see that every game added teasers of the next Call of Duty that's about to come after them within their own games. For example, Black Ops 3 started to add those weird symbols to Nuketown when Infinite Warfare was about to release, along with the ship added towards the end of the match. Advanced Warfare all of a sudden decided to add some World War II weapons to their game a little bit before World War II came out, etc. So when it comes to World War II, how could it all of a sudden bring changes to their game that teases Black Ops 4 without getting rid of that World War II feeling, since both of these games are in totally different time periods? And I feel like that all of the features that I talked about within this video was basically an answer to this question. And even though these new features aren't as drastic or completely like their counterparts in Black Ops 4, I still feel like that they were designed this way so one, they can implement features from Black Ops 4 within World War II, but not completely take away the feeling that World War II has been keeping up within their game in terms of gameplay. But that's pretty much all I have for you guys within this video. So if you guys enjoyed it, please leave a like, comment, subscribe, click the bell icon so you'll never miss an upload, and follow me on my social media accounts to stay connected. Links are always in the description below, and let me know if y'all actually noticed that these features were somewhat like the ones in Black Ops 4, or did it just go over your head at first and now you realize how the two games are related through these new features. But anyways, as always, I'll go ahead and talk to you guys in the next one, so take care of yourselves and bye.